Welcome back to the Get Off the Treadmill podcast for practice owners and leaders, where we are obsessed with how to build a successful practice and get a life too. Hi, I'm Chuck Blakeman, and we're going to dive into another topic that helps us make more money in less time, get off the treadmill, and rehumanize dentistry by giving everybody their brain back. Today I'm with Dr. Wayne Kerr, who earned a Mastership in the Academy of General Dentistry and was honored in 2011 with its presentation of the Lifelong Learning and Service Recognition Award. He has been awarded fellowships in both the American and International Colleges of Dentistry, as well as the Pierre Fauchard Academy. Dr. Wayne is a member of the Hinman Dental Society and honored fellow of the Georgia Dental Association, and an adjunct associate professor for the University of Alabama School of Dentistry in Birmingham. Whether he's in the operatory or speaking to other professionals, his goal is to advance the profession to better serve his fellow man. Learn more about Dr. Kerr at www.kerrspeak.com. Dr. Kerr, it is a joy to have you on our podcast today.
Well, Chuck, it's certainly my great privilege and pleasure, and I deeply appreciate the invitation to share this time with you.
Awesome. Well, today we're going to talk about the marketing tips and tricks that go with being a dentist and having a dental practice. And we'll have other topics, and another time we're going to have you back. But I think I want to start with your idea on this. What you did some of this. Did a short program for Hinman last year on this stuff. I think if people missed that, too bad. You'll be back. You'll do other things. But you've got 5 marketing tips that people have never heard of, plus one. So it's like a baker's 6, I guess.
I can't count.
And the premise of these things is that how would your target audience find you without advertising? Internet, practice website, your practice website, or social media. How would they find you? You know, is it residents of the community? Is it in which you practice? How would they find you if you didn't have advertising, internet, practice website, social media, that kind of nonsense?
That's a great question, Chuck. And without question, technology has completely changed marketing. It's all about search engine optimization and practice Facebook and social media, et cetera. But as you pose the question, if you don't have those technologies available, what can you do? And my premise is that patients can't judge our clinical skills, but they can certainly judge their experience with us. And why not provide a mountaintop experience? And part of that is becoming known in your community. Use your practice as an economic engine to make a better community in which to build your practice and raise your family. Why not? It's where you live. Why not invest in your community to make it a place that's better for everyone? And I was also asked, how much should a general practice spend on marketing? And it's not a great deal. Typically 1 to 5% of your monthly collection should be spent on marketing. And clearly, Chuck, if you're a new practice, you're growing a practice to add an associate, or you're building value for transition, you're going to spend more, like 5% each month of your collection, than when you are in practice significance, to use your term, Chuck. And then you're going to spend much less, about 1%. So how can we spend those dollars? Everything I'm going to share with you, Chuck, can be done for $1,000 or less each year. $20 a week.
I love it because I owned I was in the marketing support services industry for 13 years. Wow. And I owned a piece of a branding company. I was very involved in marketing and advertising for more than a decade and a half. And one of the things I learned is that almost all of it is voodoo. It's fortune telling. It's not, it's almost impossible to pin it down. And the only way you make money at it is you throw a bucket load of money at it. And then you have no idea which one of the things you tried worked. Something worked, but you have no idea. So next month or next year, you have to throw another bucket load at it because you really don't know what worked. So I'll start with this, and then we can go through each one of these individually. I think that'd be great. Sure. I'll give them a motivating story of a friend of mine that you probably know, Dr. Craig Spodak in Florida. He owns a $12 million single location practice, 55 people involved in that practice. Wow. And he was spending $50,000 to $60,000 a month on advertising early on for years. And he decided that that didn't make sense. He got onto the idea of building a relationship and doing exactly what you set up here. He got involved in his community. Today, he spends zero outside of his practice. He does have people inside of his practice helping him with social media, but no, he does not have a dedicated person that he pays a salary to do marketing, and he doesn't pay marketing outside of his practice. And it's a $12 million practice. So let's start there. When people say, well, that might work for the other guy, here's a $12 million practice that doesn't advertise. So how in the world do you make that stuff happen? Your number one thing you got here, the first thing that you're going to suggest here that isn't expensive is sponsor stuff. Tell me about that.
Absolutely. It's my premise that when you're in the community and out of the operatory, you establish relationships with the people with whom you're working, whether you're in a volunteer capacity or a leadership capacity. And when you build those relationships, working for a common cause with others, those lead to friendships, and friendships lead to patience. And you don't have to have a big marketing budget to become a friend with someone. So yes, sponsorship is fantastic. And one of the greatest and easiest sponsorship opportunities in any community is to sponsor something with your local high school. Classic examples are the drama department and the band. They're great organizations with fabulous people, great parents, and they're always in need of money. $1,000 a year toward a drama program to provide set materials, screws, hardware, wood, etc. And gosh, it's how about building the sets on Saturdays with the kids? Why not?
So the first thing I'm always trying to think about this in terms of my audience, and the first thing I'm hearing in my head from some people in the audience is I don't have time to do that. So there's a number of answers to that, but how would you respond to that?
I would say that for $1,000 a year, we sponsored the opening night of the spring musical, 9 straight years. 600 seats. We filled all 600 seats with my patients of record. The kids loved it because they opened to a full house with a standing ovation. And for about $1.50 a seat, we had patients having the time of their lives. They still talk about it, Chuck. That doesn't take a lot of time to write a check for $1,000 and fill the theater. Give me a break.
Awesome. That's awesome. Well, and that's the first thing that came to my mind. The second thing was, we always feel like we have to do it ourselves. No, there are probably people in your practice who love drama, who would love to get involved in helping build the sets. And you can have some people actually invest some time in getting involved in the backstage stuff as well as what you just mentioned. So there's lots of ways to do this that don't necessarily turn on your own time investment. But to your point, when you show up, boy, it means something to people. When you're there, there's no better testimonial than this doc cares enough about his community to be there for the band when they play at the halftime and be sponsoring that, or a little league team or that kind of stuff. And
Absolutely.
what does that cost you? That is one of the things that I think I don't think Dr. Craig actually sponsors a sports team, but I do believe he gets involved in the drama clubs in his area as well. It's a great way to do that. So that's number one, is let's get involved and sponsor something, the band, sports, any kind of sports, the drama club. There's so many things you could, parades. There's so many things you can sponsor in your community to give you high visibility. I had a friend who was an electrician who sponsored a hockey club in the town, and he got involved as a coach. And he said more than 50% of his electrical work came from hockey moms.
Wow.
This isn't hard. This isn't hard. So that's number one. Won't cost you much, $1,000 or some of your time. Number two is join something. Give me some background on that one.
There are unlimited opportunities for a professional to become engaged with the community through community-based organizations. Just our education alone makes us seen as leaders in our community. So let's take advantage of that. And again, any number of service clubs, Kiwanis, Rotary, Optimist Club, Lions Club, Anchor, American Business Women's Association. how about becoming a board member for the American Cancer Society, the American Heart Association, United Way? Chuck, there are unlimited opportunities to plug yourself in as a volunteer. And don't say you don't have time. You know, sure, Kiwanis and Rotary meet every week, but many of the boards where you serve as an advisor meet monthly. Anybody can give an hour a month. And again, when you're working with people on a weekly or a monthly basis for a common shared goal, you establish relationships which build friendships, which then lead to patience.
That's great. We teach an 11-week business development course called Fast Track, how to build things quickly. And one of the keys in that is that we tell people to stop chasing patients, stop chasing the next sale. And we put it in terms of lumberjacks. Stop trying to cut down the next tree and go get yourself a lumberjack who has already cut down all the trees. He's cut them down, stacked, dried. They're all in their contact database. So to your point, you join the American Heart Association as a board member, and on that board are 6 other business people who have 50 to 200 people in their organization. They've got all these trees that have been cut, stacked, and dried, all these relationships that trust them, and all they have to do is turn them on to you and say, hey, go see this dentist. Your database is, you might have a database of 500 or 1,000 people, but they've got 5,000 more that can add to it just by knowing 5 people. And so it's sort of stop chasing the egg and chase the golden goose. It just makes a lot more sense. And again, it doesn't take a lot of your time. A lot of people will do this, but we talk about being authentic in this environment as well. Don't join the American Heart Association just to get patients. They'll smell that. We call that commission breath. They'll see you coming. And join it because you love the American Heart Association. We would want to be part of that, of the Cancer Society or the March of Dimes or the Red Cross. You would do it because the wilderness experience here in Denver. You would do it because it's something you have a passion for. But then be very intentional. It's not the least bit inauthentic for you to be very intentional about using that to build your practice as well. That's great.
It has to be consistent with your core values. Absolutely.
All right, number 3, lead something. Wow.
Well, again, we're seen as natural leaders, so let's take advantage of that. Maybe we want to establish a study club in our community and lead that. Maybe, Chuck, maybe one of our staff members has a passion for Habitat for Humanity. And so let's organize let's lead our dental community and all pitch together to do a Habitat Day, wear our matching shirts and jeans and go out and volunteer. Maybe we can organize a group, or maybe just our own office, to partner with Ace Hardware to donate the paint and the brushes, and we can go out and spruce up a neighborhood park, repainting the swing sets, etc. That's all good fun. Bring in a catered lunch or a picnic, celebrate the dental community. Again, lead that and organize that.
That's a great thing and one of the things that you brought to mind was that Dr. Craig at Spodek Dental, they I think 3 times a year they do a day where they go out and they find people in the community who can't afford dentistry, and they bring them in, and they have a whole day where they do dentistry for free, basically, for those who can't afford it. It's a huge, it gets advertised on television. I mean, they couldn't buy the amount of advertising that comes with that kind of thing. And then they had, go ahead.
I was going to say, I practice in a small community, 18,000 people, with a local newspaper. I cannot tell you the number of times that my team and I were on the front page of the Rockdale Citizen because we were in the community doing something. I mean, you're correct. You can't buy that.
Yeah. Now, most newspapers, there aren't even any ads on the front page. You can't buy one even for money. And it's such better advertising when you get public relations kudos like that. It is at such a higher level than advertising because it's somebody else blowing your horn. It's the newspaper, it's the community. Somebody reported that to the newspaper, and it just comes across as something so much more valuable than, hey, aren't we great? We're a wonderful dental organization. Come get your teeth done here. It It's at a whole different level. All right, number 4, organize.
Organize, yeah. Well, I might have jumped the gun. I was thinking about organizing those community activities like Habitat or painting up your park. I apologize. I
That's right. Sometimes you can organize them and sometimes you can lead them. So they're different things.
I want to comment really quickly, too, that when I was serving on the board of the Chamber of Commerce, I was representing the Chamber one Saturday morning in my community because Chick-fil-A was opening a new location. And there I am on the front page of the Saturday Citizen with Truett Cathy, getting his book signed. It's amazing. Again, not a lot of time involved in leadership roles in your community, but great payoffs. And you're right, Chuck, when you do something because it's part of a core value, again, when you're part of your community because you want to be part of your community, I don't feel like I'm taking time from my practice. I think I'm living with passion, and I'm making my community a better place for not only for me to practice, but to raise my kids. So why not? That's a great investment.
So let me stop in the middle here. We're on number 3, but I want to say this before I forget, because it'd be a nice thing to say at the end, but then I might forget it. These are really important things to do because they set you apart from every other dental practice in the area who thinks that the way to acquire more patients is to throw money at paper, radio, TV, whatever it is. We talk about this in our 11-week course. The 2 last words of a dying marketing program: me too. Me too. Hey, everybody else is throwing money at newspaper ads. Let me throw money at newspaper ads. Everybody else is in the yellow pages, and so you got the 300 dental organizations in the yellow pages or in the advertisement, and you're all smothering each other with the same noise. Nobody gets heard because you're all doing the same thing. It worked for the first guy, and therefore the next 300 did it. By the time that the 20th guy got in, it no longer works. So whatever anybody else is doing, do something else. Stand out, and these are great ways to stand out. Sponsor a sports league. Do clean the. You have you talked about at one point the clean the community day. Things like that. Chamber of Commerce, Small Business Expos. Do things other dentists aren't. It'll come back to you exponentially. Whatever they're not doing, do that. All
Absolutely.
right, number 5, support. Here's another thing you can do that no other dentist is doing.
There are great opportunities to be supportive with various programs. Partner education comes to mind. I've been a partner in education for a number of the elementary schools, middle schools, and even one high school. We have quite a number in Rockdale County now. But being a partner in education gives you the opportunity to sponsor various activities in the school. And obviously you want to take advantage of Give Kids a Smile, Children's Dental Health Month, empower your hygiene team to establish a relationship with the 3rd grade lead teacher. And in February, doctor, you got to spend a couple of bucks on the little Crest or Colgate kits. Have your business staff put your logo, practice website, and phone number on mailing labels, and then peel those mailings off and put them on the boxes of Crest or Colgate kits, and then have your hygienist give those out to the kids while they're promoting brushing and flossing and good health. There's time to read a book. How about supporting a library fund to add new books or purchase DVDs? Become a business partner for the United Way. I mean, that's huge when your team commits to 100% of your employees all contributing to the United Way each year. That means a great deal, and it doesn't have to be a lot. You can have a $5 commitment per team member, but you have 100%, and you're seen as a business leader. How about emceeing the United Way kickoff in your community, or pay for the lunch that sponsors that? There are so many ways you can support programs in your community. And again, it should be a passion. It should be something that you enjoy doing, so that, as you said earlier, Chuck, it's genuine.
Yeah. You can't fake this stuff. You really do need to be authentic about it. So, all right. So that's the 5th one. So here's the Baker's 6, or the extra: honor people. Recognize people in your practice and outside your practice. Give us some insight on that.
It doesn't cost a lot to honor people. and it's fun to do. Now, if you're fortunate that you have a local hero or heroine to support, that's wonderful to give an award each year in their name and then be present to present that award. I did some other things, Chuck. In 1986, the U.S. Mint started minting the Silver Eagle silver dollars. They cost anywhere from $5 to $15 a piece each year, depending on how many were minted and how much silver cost. I've given away more than 2,000 silver dollars to patients in my practice based on some achievement. It might be recognizing them for becoming an Eagle Scout. It might be a silver or a golden anniversary. It might be graduation from high school or college, perhaps marriage. Maybe it's to recognize the birth of a child. These are easy and inexpensive ways to honor people in your practice, and then you put an appropriate letter. By the way, if anyone needs that kind of help, on kerrspeak.com, my website, under resources, you can download those letters. I've written them, take them, use them, they're yours. If they benefit you, that's what I'm here for. I want you to be more successful, and I want you to get off the treadmill. I have, and it's fun.
Yeah, I still remember your Facebook post from when you decided to get off the treadmill. There's a lot of freedom in that post.
There's one other thing I've done, Chuck, that I'm really proud of. I didn't see this coming, but there are so many awards for academics and athletics. I thought, why not honor people for their character? So I give a cup. It's called the Kerr Cup. I didn't name it. It's actually called the Award of Excellence. The newspaper called it the Kerr Cup, and that name stuck. I've been doing this since 1990. I give away about 36 cups a year to a young man and a young woman leaving elementary for middle school, leaving middle school for high school, and graduating from high school, honoring them for their industry, their integrity, and their service. Now, these students are selected by the principal and the counseling team. I have nothing to do with it except I'm present there on honors night to present the cup and the award. And Chuck, the amazing thing, this is so humbling, to win the Kerr Cup has become the most coveted award in Rockdale County when you graduate from high school. Wow. Amazing. It costs me $1,000 a year to give 36 cups. Wow.
That's awesome. Well, so all of these things add up to one simple little marketing principle here that to me isn't a marketing principle. It's relationships. You're being seen as a human being rather than as just a business. And it doesn't have to be just Dr. Wayne. It could be other people in your practice. Maybe maybe one of our listeners isn't the shy retiring type who just prefers to be in the operatory and doesn't want to do any of this stuff. I guarantee you there's somebody in their practice who is a raging extrovert who would love to represent.
Absolutely.
and so there's always ways to get this done. It doesn't have to be just us. But boy, when the dentist is out there and the practice is out there, it puts a face on it that other businesses don't have. We see them behind glass doors as we drive by. But this is us getting out into the community and getting closer to people. And we say this again all the time, the closer you get to a hug, the more likely you are to sell something.
Wow.
And that's the basis of really all marketing, is to try and develop a relationship. That's all marketing is. Well, I was in the industry for over a decade and a half. Marketing is about relationships. And if you can't actually be out in your community, the only option you have is to throw money at it and make people feel like they know you. So you put a swoosh together and a just do it phrase, and you pound that for tens of millions of dollars until people think they know you and they like you. But there's such better ways to do that. The ways that you've talked about here in developing the sponsorship and joining something and being a leader in your community and organizing things, supporting things, honoring people. All of that develops your presence as a real community of relationships inside of your dental practice, and that makes people feel like I can go there because I know these people. So I love what you're doing here, and I love the idea that none of this costs very much money at all, well less than what most practices spend in 1 month, and the return is exponentially higher. So this is wonderful. How can people get a hold of you and learn more?
My website is kerrspeak.com. My email address is Wayne, WAYNE, @kerrspeak.com. And if you text the word Kerr Speak, KERRSPEAK, to the digits 22828. You'll get a link. Add your email to that link and submit, and you'll receive my monthly blog on the first Thursday of every month. And I hope that your listeners will do that. My December blog is called Pictures on the Wall, and it's not about dentistry, Chuck. It's about life. And you and I know that there's more to life than just dentistry, right? Get off the treadmill.
Absolutely. Well, we're excited to have you on the podcast. We're really excited to promote what you're doing. Definitely sign up for Dr. Kerr's his blog and get connected with him, because he's got a different view of dentistry that is so refreshing and will help you build your practice. Thanks for being on our podcast, Wayne. We love having you.
Thank you, Chuck. It's been a joy.
You bet. If this podcast was helpful, please subscribe by computer or by phone, or connect with us at www.gottsummit.com, 2 T's, GOTT summit.com. That stands for Get Off the Treadmill. We have those summits quarterly for dental practitioners only. Or connect with us at www.chuckblakeman.com, or email us at grow@cranksetgroup.com. Let's get off that treadmill. Let's get into the participation age. I look forward to seeing you in the next podcast. Thanks.